Okay, tonight is the 20th of August 2011, and we come to the Sutta Nipata. In the Khuddaka Nikaya talks, we already finished the third book, Udana, the fourth book, Itivuttaka. Now we come to the fifth book, Sutta Nipata. Sutta Nipata can be translated as section of suttas or group of suttas, or collection of suttas even. Of all the books in the Khuddaka Nikaya, I think this one is the most important. It consists of 5 chapters, totaling 71 suttas. And some of the suttas are among the oldest in the Pali Canon and not found elsewhere. Also, some of it are very inspiring. Now, we come to the first chapter called the Uraga Vaga, chapter of the snake. The first sutta is Uraga Sutta, the snake skin. It's about the monk who discards all human passions, compared to a snake that casts its skin. 1. He who gives up anger which has arisen, as a snake poison diffused in the body is removed by antidotes or herbs, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. 2. He who has completely destroyed lust, as one cuts off a lotus flower in a lake, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. Stop here for a moment. To give up anger, to give up lust is extremely difficult. Because as long as we have an ego and something does not go our way, anger will easily arise. Anger, if it's not too much, it's still bearable. When a person has too much anger, it can affect the whole body and also affect other people. Some people are moved by anger to violence, even kill somebody. So to give up anger is extremely difficult, and to give up lust. Lust is one of our natural tendencies. Lust means extreme greed for something that you like. The more you like something, the more you want it. So that's why it's so difficult to cut off lust. But if you can do this, give up anger, give up lust, then just like the snake poison is removed by antidotes or by herbs, then you give up the cycle of existence. You can only do this on 2 conditions. One is you understand the Dhamma very well. You have the right view. And secondly, your mind is strong enough. And the mind cannot be strong enough until you have attained jhana, one-pointedness of mind. The third one, he who has completely destroyed craving, like drying up a once swiftly flowing river, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. Craving also difficult to give up. 4. He who has completely destroyed pride, like a weak bridge of reeds swept away by a mighty flood, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. This pride is concerned with our ego. As long as we have ego, we have pride. That's why the livelihood of a monk, the Buddha, one of the cornerstones of a monk's life, the Buddha wanted the monks to go on alms round, Pindapata, to cut our pride. If you go on alms round, you're a beggar. Like in the previous sutta, we read that it is one of the lowest means of livelihood to beg, going around with a bald head and alms bowl, begging for food. That is precisely because we want to destroy pride, ego. Fifth, he who does not see any substantiality in forms of becoming or existence, as one does not find flowers on a fig tree, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. You can see any substantiality, that means any core. This core is connected with the atta. Atta or anatta. Anatta is no atta, no self, meaning there's no core, no essence, something permanent, something everlasting. In the whole universe, you cannot find. Everything is changing. Nothing stays the same. 6. He who has no ill temper within him and who has overcome all forms of becoming, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. 7. He who has destroyed, here it says speculations, you can say unwholesome thoughts, well cut off without remainder. That monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. If you can cut off, firstly, unwholesome thoughts. Later, if you can attain the second jhana, then you cut off all thoughts entirely in the second jhana. Once you do that, then the mind becomes more peaceful because it understands that there is another type of happiness free from thinking. 8. He who is neither, here it says restless, you can say, he who is, first I read this translation, he who is neither restless nor indolent and who has overcome all such impediments, that monk gives up the cycle of existence. He who is neither restless nor indolent. There's another translation, is that he who has neither transgressed nor caused another to transgress, that means to do wrong. He doesn't do wrong, he doesn't cause others to do wrong. Then he gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. So sometimes I see this Pali, I can translate it different ways. 9. He who is neither restless nor indolent, same thing, and knows that all in the world is unsubstantial, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. 10. He who is neither restless nor indolent, and knowing that all is unsubstantial, freed from greed, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. He who is neither restless nor indolent, or transgress or cause others to transgress, and knowing that all is unsubstantial, freed from lust, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. 12. He who is neither restless nor indolent, and knowing that all is unsubstantial, freed from anger, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as the snake sheds its old decayed skin. He who is 13. He who is neither restless nor indolent, and knowing that all is unsubstantial, freed from delusion, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as a snake sheds its old decayed skin. 14. He who has no unhealthy tendencies whatsoever and has completely destroyed the roots of evil, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as a snake sheds its old decayed skin. 15. He who has no anxieties whatsoever, which are the causes of entering this world, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as a snake sheds its old decayed skin. 16. He who has no cravings whatsoever, which cause attachment to becoming, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as a snake sheds its old decayed skin. 17. He who has eradicated the 5 hindrances, freed from confusion, having overcome doubts and sorrow, that monk gives up the cycle of existence as a snake sheds its old decayed skin. So you can see from here, it's not easy to give up the cycle of existence unless you give up all these things. which to a normal human being is desirable. Now we come to 1.2, Dhanya Sutta. It's a dialogue between Dhanya, the herdsman, and the Buddha. Dhanya was a herdsman who lived at the time when the Buddha was staying at Savatthi. It was the monsoon season, just before the onset of rain. Dhanya says, I have cooked my rice and milked the cows. I dwell with my people near the bank of the Mahi river. My house is thatched. The fire is kindled. Therefore rain, O cloud, if you like. Just like now, we can tell the rain deva to rain if he likes. The Buddha said, I am free from anger, free from passion. I abide for the night near the bank of the river Mahi. My house or body is uncovered. The fire of passion is extinguished. Therefore rain, O cloud, if you like. Then Dhanya says, gadflies and mosquitoes are not to be found. My meadows are abounding with grass on the marshy land. The cattle can endure the rain when it comes. Therefore rain, O cloud, if you like. The Buddha says, by me is made a well-constructed raft. I have passed over the floods to Nibbana. There is no further use of the raft. Therefore rain, O cloud, if you like. And Dhanya says, Gopi, my wife, is not wanton and is obedient to me. For a long time she has lived with me pleasantly. Of her I do not hear any evil whatever. And the Buddha replies, my mind is obedient and is free from passion. For a long time it has been trained and well subdued. So evil is not to be found in me. And Dhanya says, I am self-employed and support myself. My sons are all healthy. About them I do not hear any evil whatever. And the Buddha says, I am no one's servant. With the gaining of my object, I wander through the world. There is no need for me to serve. And Dhanya says, I have young bulls and calves, also cows in calf and heifers, and a bull who is leader of the herd. And the Buddha replies, I have neither young bulls nor calves, neither cows in calf nor heifers, nor a bull who is the leader of the herd. And Dhanya says, the stakes are firmly fixed. The ropes made of munja grass are new and well made. Even the young calves are not able to break them. And the Buddha says, having broken the fetters like a bull, as an elephant having broken the Puttilata creepers, so there will be no more rebirth for me. Then all of a sudden a shower poured down, filling all the levels and hollows. Hearing the roaring of the storm, Dhanya spoke the following words. Great indeed is the gain that we see the Blessed One, the Omniscient One. To you we come for refuge. O great seer, be our refuge. Both my wife and I will be obedient to you in the dispensation of Sugata, the Welcome One. We shall lead the holy life. Overcoming birth and death, we will make an end of suffering. Mara now appeared to tempt him. And Mara says, he who has children delights on account of the children. He who has cattle likewise delights on account of cattle. For the delights of man are on account of acquisitions, upadi, alone. He who has no acquisitions has no delight. And the Buddha replied, he who has children has grief on account of his children. He who has cattle has grief on account of cattle. For acquisitions are the cause of sorrows of men. But he who has no acquisitions has no sorrow. So if you have any acquisitions, any property, that is the cause of our sorrow. So this Mara, this man, you see, after the Buddha sort of convinced him that the Buddha is enlightened, straight away he wants to lead the holy life with the wife under the Buddha. But Mara came to tempt him, reminding him of all the property. So it doesn't say in the end actually whether he did go forth or not with the wife. Now we come to 1.3, Khagga Visana Sutta. Here it says unicorn's horn. Some other places it says rhinoceros horn. Actually, the word Khagga means sword or something very sharp. And Visana means horn. And the Indian rhinoceros is unlike the African rhinoceros. Indian rhinoceros has only one horn. I think the African rhinoceros has two horns. So they say as lonely as a rhinoceros horn. But actually, I think this word Khagga Visana means rhinoceros only. Because I looked up the English Pali dictionary, I looked for the word rhinoceros. It is Khagga Visana. Okay. Having abandoned the harming of living beings, not tormenting even one of them, let one not wish for a son, not to speak of a friend. Let one live alone like a rhinoceros, or let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Attachment arises from companionship. Dissatisfaction proceeds from attachment. Observing the perils resulting from attachment, let one live alone like a rhinoceros. Maybe it sounds better. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Being compassionate to friends and dear ones, having a fatted heart, he neglects his welfare. Seeing such fear in intimacy, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. The attachment towards children and wives is like a bamboo clump thickly grown and entangled. Being free from entanglement like the new bamboo tip, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Like the unfettered forest deer, roaming and feeding at leisure, let the wise man, observing his freedom, live alone. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. One is petitioned with requests if he is among friends, during rest, whilst being entertained, whilst on a visit, or during a journey, observing the freedom that is not desired by others. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Love of amusement and desire arises in the midst of friends, and there also arises strong attachment for children, loathing the conditions for separation from beloved ones. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. One who has no hatred towards any of the four directions, being contented with little or much, having overcome all danger, fearless, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Some monks are difficult to please, also the laity living the household life. Having become unconcerned about others' children, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Having given up the characteristics of a layman, like the Kovilara tree which has cast off its leaves, having broken the fetters of a household life, the courageous one lives alone. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. If one finds a wise friend, a companion living according to good virtues, prudent and having conquered all dangers, then live with him happily and mindfully. If one does not find a wise friend, a companion living according to good virtues and prudent, then like a ruler who has abandoned his conquered country, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Certainly we praise the acquisition of friendships and friends, those who are either higher or equal in attainment or development should be associated with. Not finding such friends enjoying blameless food, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Having seen the glittering golden armlets well finished by the goldsmith, we strike against each other on one's arm. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Thus, when I live with a second person, I am either compelled to speak too much or to be angry with him. Observing these fears in the future, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Sensuous objects are indeed varied, sweet and delightful, and upset the mind by their illusions. Seeing the unhealthy results of sensuous objects, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Sensuous objects are the cause of calamity, danger, disease, a dart and a fear to me. Observing this danger resulting from sensuous objects. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. There are cold, heat, hunger, thirst, wind, sun, insects, snakes. Having endured all these things, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Like the huge-bodied, white-marked, noble elephant wandering in the forest to his heart's content, abandoning his herd, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Even temporary deliverance is impossible to the person who is fond of society. Observing these words of Adicca Bandhu, the Pacceka Buddha, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. I have removed wrong views, gained the right path, and indeed arrived at the end. Wisdom is born in me, and I have understood with my own effort. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Being free from greed and deceit, without craving and envy, having removed ignorance, having no desire for anything in the whole world, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. The cynical friend who indulges in mischief, who is attached to wrong views, is to be avoided. Such a friend who is irresponsible should not be associated with. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. One should associate with a friend who is learned, who knows the Dhamma, developed and possessed of knowledge, having known the meaning of things and removed doubts. Let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. One who disdains sport, amusement and worldly pleasure, avoiding a life of self-aggrandizement, speaking the truth, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Having abandoned the excessive desires with regard to son, wife, father, mother, wealth, tangible goods and relations, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Attachment to things is a bond. Here happiness is temporary and sorrow is greater and enjoyment is less. The wise person, knowing this to be like a fish hook in the throat, lives alone. Let one wander like a rhinoceros. Having broken the ties like a fish which has broken the net in the river, like the fire that does not return to a burnt up spot, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. With downcast eyes, not fond of loitering, with guarded sense and restrained mind, which is not soaked by lust and is not burning with it, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Having given up the sartorial or clothing characteristics of the householder, like the parichatta tree with leaves destroyed, having gone forth clad in yellow robes, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Not greedy for delicacies, not disturbed by taste, having no one dependent on him, begging from house to house without any attachment to those families, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Having eliminated the 5 hindrances from the mind, having destroyed all defilements of the mind, having broken the fetters of attachment and being free, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Doing away with happiness and sorrow and the previous mental ease and mental agony, having gained equanimity, calm and pure, let one wander like a rhinoceros. In order to attain the supreme good, being strenuous, prudent, industrious, resolute in perseverance, possessed of the power of strength, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Not abandoning solitude and meditation, living always according to Dhamma, realizing the painful consequences of forms of becoming, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Being diligent, aspiring to the eradication of craving, skilled, learned, mindful, proficient to examine the Dhamma, sure in the path, energetic, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Like a lion not frightened by noises, like the wind not caught in a net, like a lotus not defiled by the water, let one wander like a rhinoceros. As a lion, the king of beasts, strong with his teeth, roams overcoming other beasts, living in solitary surroundings, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. Practicing loving kindness, equanimity, compassion, liberation, and joy at the appropriate time, unobstructed by all the world, let one wander alone like the rhinoceros. Having discarded lust, anger, and delusion, having broken the fetters, entertaining no fear in death, let one wander alone like the rhinoceros. Many keep companionship and associate with each other for the sake of self-advantage. Today, it is difficult to find friends free from ulterior motives. They are clever enough to obtain personal advantages and therefore are despicable. Knowing this, let one wander alone like a rhinoceros. That's the end of this sutta. So you see, this sutta is very ascetic and very inspiring. If a person really wants to attain liberation in this lifetime, he has to follow this sutta, wander alone like a rhinoceros. A few people will have the courage to do this. 1.4 Kasi Bharadvaja Sutta. This sutta is also found in Sutta Nikaya 7.1. Thus have I heard. Once the Buddha was dwelling in a Brahmin village called Ekkanala, situated in the district of Dakkinagiri in the country of Magadha. At that time, being the sowing season, 500 ploughs owned by the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja were set to work. In the morning then, the Buddha, having robed himself and taking his bowl and robe, went to that place where Kasi Bharadvaja's work was in progress. It was lunchtime, and the food was being distributed by the Brahmin. When the Buddha arrived at the place where the food was being distributed, he stood aside. The Brahmin, seeing the Buddha standing for alms, said thus, O recluse, I plough and sow, and having ploughed and sown, I eat. You also, recluse, should plough and sow, and having ploughed and sown, you should eat. And the Buddha said, I too, Brahmin, plough and sow, and having ploughed and sown, I eat. And he said, We see neither yoke, nor plowshare, nor goat, nor oxen of the Venerable Gotama, and yet you say, I too, Brahmin, plough and sow, and having ploughed and sown, I eat. Thereupon, Kasi Bharadvaja addressed the Buddha in this stanza, You claim to be a farmer, yet we do not see your ploughing. Being questioned by us about your ploughing, tell us in such a manner that we may know of it. And the Buddha said, Confidence is the seed, self-control the rain, wisdom my yoke and plough, modesty is my pole, mine is the rope, mindfulness my plowshare and goat. Stop for a moment. This confidence, you can translate it as faith. Faith is the seed, self-control the rain, wisdom my yoke and plough, modesty is my pole, mine is the rope, mindfulness my plowshare and goat. Bodily action is well guarded, speech is well guarded. Moderate in food, I make truth the destroyer of weeds and calm my release. Exertion is my yoke oxen, which carries me towards Nibbana. It goes onward without stopping. Having gone there, one has no regrets. In this way, the ploughing is done. It bears the fruit of immortality. Having accomplished this ploughing, one becomes free from all suffering. Then Kasi Bharadvaja filled a large golden bowl with milk rice and offered it to the Buddha, saying, Let the Venerable Gotama eat the milk rice. You are a farmer by reason of that ploughing. It bears indeed the fruit of immortality. And the Buddha said, What is obtained by chanting hymns is not to be eaten by me. This is Brahmin, not the practice of those who see rightly. The Buddhas refuse what is obtained by chanting hymns. You should serve other food and drink to an accomplished great sage who is free from the mental impurities and remorse. That is the field for him who seeks merits. And Brahmin said, Then Venerable Gotama, to whom should I give this milk rice? And the Buddha said, Brahmin, in the world which includes gods, Maras, Brahmas, and among Brahmins and men, I do not see anyone except a Tathagata or a disciple of the Tathagata by whom this milk rice, when eaten, can be properly digested. Therefore, Brahmin, you had better cast this milk rice either in a place where there is no grass, or float it in water where there are no living creatures. So Kasi Bharadvaja floated the milk rice in water which contained no life, whereupon it made a hissing sound with much steam and smoke emanating from all sides, just as a plowshare, when heated all day and plunged into water, produces a hissing sound and emits steam and smoke on all sides. Then Kasi Bharadvaja, greatly excited and with hair standing on end, approached the Buddha and fell with his head at the Master's feet, saying, "It is amazing, Venerable Gautama. It is wonderful, Venerable Gautama. Just as if one might raise what had been overturned, or reveal what has been hidden, or point out the way to him who has gone astray, or hold out a lamp in the dark so that those who have eyes may see objects. So likewise has the truth been explained by Venerable Gautama in various ways. Therefore I take refuge in him, his Dhamma and his Sangha. I wish to enter the homeless life and to receive the higher ordination near the Venerable Gautama." Then Kasi Bharadvaja received ordination as a novice and received the higher ordination near the Buddha. Later, by leading a secluded life, diligently, energetically, and with a resolute will, in a short time he understood, experienced and attained that highest perfection of a noble life, for which the sons of good families leave the household life harmoniously and take to the life of homelessness. Rebirth has been ended, a noble life has been led. What was to be done had been done, and there was nothing else to be done in this earthly existence. Kasi Bharadvaja had become one of the Arahants. You notice here, Indians, when they meet a holy man, and they are impressed by the holy man, seems like quite easy for them to renounce. Very difficult for Chinese, Chinaman, very hard to let go.